Welcome to an exciting episode of Scotland Shop on the Sofa. Through the month of May, we're serving all things Clan MacKinnon, and tonight we're delighted to be joined by Carl Johhengen. Carl is on the board of directors for the Clan MacKinnon and has kindly joined us to answer some questions and talk about the clan. So welcome, Carl, from across the pond, and we appreciate your time today and what you do to represent the society. What is your connection to Clan MacKinnon?
It's actually a really unique story, I think. I discovered that I had MacKinnon heritage rather late in my life, about 12 years ago. I was able to uncover my birth family. I was adopted as a baby, and it turns out my father's surname was MacKinnon, and I discovered that I had a full biological brother named Rick MacKinnon. Making that wonderful discovery at that point in my life was so exciting. I decided
it's sort of a rejuvenation of life. You get that exciting thrill,
Yeah, and having spent a long time being curious about, what was my background. I was adopted into a German family, both sides. I learned to polka when I was a kid. But finding out that I had Scottish heritage was really fun and exciting.
So I decided it's amazing how many people all over the world find out later in life that they've got sort of Scottish heritage in them. Yeah, no, it's great.
And considering that the Scottish diaspora is so vast, it's no surprise, really. So
definitely. Yeah. So what does it mean for you to be connected to the MacKinnon clan?
I think it's a sense of belonging, really. I think that's something we all crave. We all love having a sense of connection to our families, or to be able to bond together around a common purpose. And I think for folks that have heritage connections, a lot of times it's related to a feeling of connection to the homeland, and maybe a connection in terms of having similar family histories, with families having to leave. There's a lot of folks involved with the Highland clans come together around the sort of the tragedy of how many clans were dispossessed of their lands, or for economic circumstances had to leave Scotland. It gives a sense of, again, a belonging to a population that has this important and emotional bond.
It's definitely got a lot of history behind the Clan MacKinnon and sort of roots all over. Yeah, it's crazy to see how many people there are all over the world in international society, and to see how they all connect is great. Mm-hmm. So obviously you said that it's quite a recent connection to the clan. When did you first sort of decide to get involved with the society itself?
I connected, of course, first online. It is the 21st century.
Yes. So I'm a bit of a technical, but yeah.
I joined the society, almost as soon as I discovered it existed. Within about a year or so, I discovered that there was going to be a clan society gathering in Chicago, and I was planning a trip, and included a stop in Chicago. And it was a wonderful opportunity to meet folks that were active with the clan society. It was held at a Scottish Games. So there was all the typical, festive stuff, and we had a couple of days of just being together, and having little workshops together, and a banquet. And I found the folks so delightful and enjoyed them so much that I made a priority to get more involved. And it was just a few years later that the current chairman of the board recruited me to join the board, and I did that at a clan gathering in Halifax, Nova Scotia, another spot where there's many, many MacKinnons, Nova Scotia. And it's been a delightful opportunity for me. I really enjoy the folks that I get to work with on the board, and the folks that are the heads of the various committees and such. And we're a good group. We work well together.
I was going to say, it'd be nice for you as well, being able to sort of bring new people into the clan as well and accept them. There is a real interest in exploring your roots, and therefore sort of many interest in Scottish heritage. Do you think this is reflected in the increase of clan society membership?
Yeah, I think so. I think it certainly has helped. TV shows like well, there's one, Tracing Your Roots, I think, and another one, Who Do You Think You Are? You know, they've really sparked a lot of interest in this. And of course, again, it's the 21st century. Now we have Ancestry.com and all these other ways of finding out about our roots, either through family history or through DNA. So I think that has definitely given a boost to the interest in clan societies for folks that have Scottish heritage.
Definitely, and it's surprising as well. We'll speak to like a lot of people that have got like a surname that is a clan, and they don't know anything. So it's quite an interesting. A lot of people dig for that information, where some people are just handed it with their surname. Yeah, definitely. I think that I need to do an ancestry. I've got a surname which originates from Germany as well, but definitely not German, as you can probably tell. So yeah, I think maybe Wallace, but we'll see where we go with that one. And you said before that you'd visited Scotland. So where's your favourite place to visit in Scotland, and why?
Oh gosh, I have too many to list. I've traveled to Scotland. My husband and I have been in Scotland 4 times. The most recently was just last summer of 22. And we were there for over a month, and just
that'd be nice after COVID, not being able to travel, to then being traveling for a month. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You know, with Clan MacKinnon having its roots on Skye, certainly that's a place I love to visit. We've been to Skye 3 times.
Would you believe that's more than me? I've never been to Skye at all. I've got a plan to go next month, but yeah, that's impressive.
It's certainly closer for you than it is for me, but it's not.
Absolutely, there's no excuse. No excuse at all.
It's not like it's a 5-minute bus ride. I mean, it takes a little effort to get there. But I think maybe my favorite spot is Iona.
Okay.
We visited Iona our first trip and spent a week there living in the old monastery. Well, it's not so old now. It's all been recently rehabbed, actually.
You've got heating and lighting now.
Yeah, I'll have to go back. But Clan MacKinnon had connections to the Isle of Iona. 2 of the last 3 abbots back in the 15th century were from the MacKinnon family, and so there's right there in the cathedral. Actually, there are 2 effigies on either side of the altar, and one of them is of Abbot John MacKinnon, who died in the early 16th century, I think, just after 1500. And seeing that was just incredibly moving. It really was. So that's a place that's very special to me is Iona.
Have you visited Edinburgh when you were there?
Oh yes. Oh yes. And we've managed to make some friends there too, which is wonderful. We have people that we can visit when we go, which is great. And
did you make it as far as the Scottish borders?
Yeah, actually, we did travel down to the borders one year, and one of our trips, and spent a week in Jedburgh, which we were completely enchanted by. It's a lovely town. And this past trip, we went all the way to Orkney, the North Coast 500, and took the ferry to Orkney for a couple of days. So we've really been, with the exception of Shetland, which may happen someday.
Next year. There's always next year.
Exactly. There's always the next trip. But we've been top to bottom and side to side pretty much. And we figure, we'll maybe visit other places once we've had a chance to see every square inch of Scotland. So
that might take you. I mean, I've been living in Scotland since I was born, and I've still not seen every inch of it, so it might take you some time. But
such a delight to visit there because the people are wonderful, and there's just so much. It's such an incredible variety of beauty. Just everything you could wish for.
Yeah, and every town is completely different and has history that all sort of links up, which that's what I find fascinating, is that no matter how far away you go, they still all seem to come back to this sort of trail of history. That's good. I've never been to Iona either, so it's definitely one to add to the bucket list and go and see that as well. This is a bit of a weird question for you, and I did a little bit of digging to find this one. So, do you believe in the legend of the Norwegian princess built the castle of Duncan and then married Findus, I want to say, and claimed ancestor of MacKinnon?
What's not to believe about a good myth like that? She was known as Saucy Mary, I understand.
Yes.
And, they say that they made money by throwing a chain across the Kyle there and charging tolls for ships. I don't see how that's possible, but a good myth is what's not to love and believe about a good myth? So
yeah. Oh, I'm glad you believe it. I'd like to believe that it's true. It gives a little bit of definition to the history, I guess.
talking about beautiful places too, scrambling up to the spot outside of Kylakan, be where the ruins of the castle are, and to look about. You can look across the Kyle to the mainland, and you get a great view of the Skye Bridge. That's a really special place too.
Oh, I'm going to have to go and do that. So you've been obviously part of the clan for a few years, and they hold gatherings virtually, as far as I'm aware. And obviously in 2024, you're planning sort of an in-person gathering after all of the restrictions. Have you got anything special planned?
Absolutely. For 2024, we're going to be gathering in Edinburgh.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah. Our existence depends on us having occasional gatherings for business meetings and such. And we've taken to doing those online, obviously, during the pandemic. But since we can do those online, we've decided to have more informal gatherings. So we won't have to do business meetings and such. We'll just be able to gather together and enjoy each other's company. We're hoping that there will be folks coming from our France and Germany contingents and Belgium, as well as some folks from Scotland. So yeah, we have it planned for late June I guess mid to late June in 2024. So we'll be
that's not long. It's almost a year away.
Right on the old sod in Edinburgh, and we're
right now. So we have a shop in Edinburgh, so you have to come and pay us a visit and get measured and check out all the tartan goods.
Yep, absolutely.
Exciting, very exciting. So you've been part of many events through the Clan MacKinnon Society. Which event has been your favourite and why?
I think maybe my favorite was our gathering in Halifax, Nova Scotia, which was in 2018. That was our biennial business meeting and clan official clan gathering. But it was a delight to get to know Halifax and to discover about how much MacKinnon history there was. Many MacKinnons. That was their first landing point after leaving Scotland. And the chairman of our board, John MacKinnon, was born and raised on Cape Breton, so he was able to fill us in with a lot of history, and we had speakers that talked about the history. And Halifax was delightful. We really enjoyed it. We saw a wonderful tattoo there with great pipe bands and dancing and drama, and that was really delightful. So I would say maybe the clan gathering that we had in Halifax, and of course meeting people from all over the country and from Canada. So far, that's my favorite.
That's fantastic. I bet you've got lots of memories from all of them. So I was going to ask, could you tell us how many people get involved in the Clan Society?
Absolutely. The easiest way is to go directly to our website. There you can, fill out a form and pay for membership right there. We also have a pretty strong social media presence. Clan MacKinnon Society is on Facebook. Just look for Clan MacKinnon Society. We're also on Instagram. And our communications guru in the clan also is one of the moderators of a more general Clan MacKinnon interest group on Facebook. So any of those ways, folks can look for us and find us and hopefully get involved.
Yeah, so I think I've joined one of the groups. I'm not too sure which one. And I've only been in it for a few days, and the amount of knowledge that I've sort of gathered has been immense and been welcomed with open arms, which is lovely. So if you can get to do it, go and join the groups for sure.
Super glad to know you're on there, Emma.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Being able to do this has been nice to sort of get to know other members of the clan and how they sort of interlink. And obviously, there's people that come straight from the Isle of Skye, and there's people that come from other places similar to yourself that have discovered later on that they're part of the clan. And it's nice that they can kind of fill in each other's stories and find relations as well, and help each other sort of connect around the world. So no, it's a very important part of my job, and I love it. So
nice, that's great. Yeah, I love connecting with folks from all over. You know, it provides an opportunity to feel like you're a part of, you know, something, even though we're far away. You know, recently there was the commemoration of the anniversary of the Battle of Culloden, and one of our members in Scotland was able to be there and took some video and posted it. I think a couple of them do that annually, and it's, you know, it's so much more poignant to imagine yourself there in person, that, you know, at the event, rather than just, oh, today's the anniversary.
Yeah,
Somebody's
scroll past it on Facebook and you see it. It's
Exactly.
actually nice to be part of that.
Yeah, to actually see somebody post and share video, and folks are forever, you know, posting their pictures of travels. So I'm like you. I have my list of places that I want to visit.
Don't worry, I'll be posting my trip to Isle of Skye on the chat. So if you're there, you'll see me.
Excellent. That'd be great.
It has been wonderful talking to you, and thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you, Emma. We're delighted to be featured, and we're really grateful to ScotlandShop and to you for organizing this. Thanks very much. Cheers.